If you spend any time on LinkedIn or in any professional environment, you're going to run into people that are always looking to give you advice, myself included. However, I'd argue that 90% of the advice that you get is completely meaningless. And the reason, in my opinion, that that's the case is because it's generic, it's ambiguous, it's vague, and people don't necessarily know what to do with the advice that they receive. So, for example, some people will say things like, go out and build relationships, make sure that you follow up, ask probing questions. And while that sounds good in theory, the person on the receiving end doesn't really know what to do with that information. So if you are on the receiving end of any advice, I'd recommend asking questions like, can you give me an example? What specifically should I do? Do you have any experience or tools that you can give me to help me execute on your advice building relationships? If you are on the giving end of advice, make sure that you're taking the concept of follow up and give them very specific and tangible things to do. For example, instead of build relationships, you can say, make a list of your top 5 to 10 customers and have a goal of visiting them or talking with them or reaching out to them proactively at least once a month. Follow up. Instead of just saying you should be following up more, say, I'd recommend at the end of your conversations, make sure that you're scheduling a next step before you leave that interaction. Asking probing questions. What are the top 3 to 5 questions that you should be asking verbatim, very specific questions that you should be asking? So when you're giving advice, make sure that it's clear. When you're getting advice, make sure that it is actionable by asking good questions in response. And perhaps you'll see some better behavior change as opposed to the jolt of motivation without any actual action taking place afterwards.